Hello, I hope this video finds all of you doing well. I personally am really feeling the positive energy of this full moon in Leo. I am recording this on Wednesday the 12th, on the day of the full moon in Leo. And while this is not a video dedicated to the full moon, I want to speak to kind of the potency of this energy as it really relates to the way that I'm going to speak about manifestation in this video and kind of some of the things that we have overcomplicated when it comes to manifesting those things that we really want in our life. So first, I want you to just take a nice deep breath in and release, and just really allow yourself to be fully present, to be fully here in this moment, to allow whatever wants to be activated inside of you to do so, right? And the way that we feel those nudges, the way that we feel those activations inside of us is really when we can slow down and connect to this moment and really notice in our body, like what's getting turned on, what's lighting up. Do we get the goosebumps about something? Do we feel lit up about something? Do we feel just excited, on fire? For me, sometimes I notice like a warmth in my body, right? Our bodies communicate to us in so many ways, and oftentimes we don't hear it, or we can't pay attention to the nudges because we're living in our head most of the time, right? We're worrying, we're thinking about what we have to do in the next moment, next week, next year, right? We allow anything other than the present moment to really cloud our thinking. And I get it. That is a part of life, and be so gentle with yourself. This is not me judging you, right? I do this as well, but it's as often as possible when we can come back to this moment, we can then hear how we are being guided. And with this full moon in Leo, this is really a beautiful opportunity. I always use the word invitation because I believe it is truly that. When we can look at the transits, when we can look at what's happening in astrology, and honestly, not just with astrology, but with anything, when we can look at our triggers this way, right? When someone really annoys us or gets under our skin, or life presents us with something that upsets us or makes us pause and question something. None of those things are inherently bad, right? They are all invitations to go within, go a little bit deeper, and just see what wants to be presented. What awarenesses, what new levels of awarenesses or insights want to come up for you in those moments. There is so much wisdom there, and so much information. And again, when we can allow ourselves to live from that place, like that is where the magic happens. That is where we can manifest any and everything that we want beyond our wildest dreams and expectations. So again, this full moon in Leo, use this as an opportunity to get still, right? Slow down, take some breaths. Think of it as this is the moment that you are really being reminded, that you are being invited to connect to what your own truth is. What really is lighting you up in this moment? What is maybe a part of you that you have like stifled or silenced, or just not allowed to be fully expressed because of the status quo, because of what society has told you or taught you consciously or unconsciously, because of family patterns and programming and things that you've picked up, right? Using this as an opportunity to come back to true self. And this is so interesting. I'm getting like this like really warm heat sensation like on my eyes right here as I'm kind of sharing this. Is so fascinating. So for me, I'm kind of like leaning into what that is a little bit as well while I'm trying to channel this message for you guys. So again, Leo is courageous. Leo is fire energy. Leo is creative. This full moon, again, full moon's illumination, right? The moon is full, it is bright, it is illuminating something for you. New moons are all about the intention setting. Full moons are all about the manifesting, right? The culmination. So when you think of all of those things simultaneously, it's like, how are you called to deepen into your own creative spirit? And from a creative spirit, I don't just mean like what you're here to create, but when you go within and connect to just on like a very basic level, where you're being called to move, right? Like when we think of creation, I mean, that really encompasses everything. It's not just about creating in a specific way, right? Not just like creating music or art or a business, or right? It doesn't have to be that tangible, but just how are you being called to move? And really from your most authentic expression, your most authentic expression. And it's not like, there is some future version of me that is the best version of me. It's like, no, it's coming back and honoring those inherent gifts and talents that already live inside of you. Again, the Western world, even when I'm saying those words, you're probably thinking like, I don't have any gifts, right? I don't know, what's coming up for me is like the gift of like being a good makeup artist, or the gift of, again, like a musician, something outwardly. But gifts are not just about vocation. Gifts are not just about how we make money and what we do in the world in a like tangible, productive way. Again, that is society's conditioning and programming, but your gifts are so much deeper and so much more important than that, right? Your gifts are the way you make people feel. Your gifts are the way that you show up for yourself and for others. And maybe psychic gifts, maybe intuitive gifts. Again, I'm just kind of saying things that are coming up for me, but trust your own intuition. Trust what is being activated inside of you as I'm saying these things. You know. What are those things that maybe you have like dismissed or discounted or just kind of pushed to the side as if they're irrelevant? Okay, but there's a part of it that like keeps coming up, keeps like knocking at the door, like, remember me, remember this part. That is the part of you that this full moon in Leo is wanting to be illuminated. Okay, with courage, with fire, like amplify it. What is that? All right. And that's a beautiful practice regardless of manifesting, right? Regardless of how the rest of this conversation goes. But that is what, again, what you're being invited to do in this moment, right? Like in this current day, in this, I don't want, season sounds too big, but can you just allow yourself to do that and work with the energies that are available to us? There's so much power there. And again, we haven't been taught that, most of us, right? If you're here listening to this, clearly there's a part of you that remembers this, right? Clearly there's a part of you that knows this or is curious about it, right? Maybe you're really on your path. Maybe this is very new for you. Maybe even just turning on this video is kind of like you honoring that part of yourself because you've shamed maybe a witchy part of you, or like a woo-woo part of you, or a spiritual part of you that you thought was bad, right? Again, based on other conditioning or what people thought of you. And again, no judgment. I've been there too, believe me. So just being open to whatever, again, wants to be illuminated in this moment and really in this energy, which the energy of the full moon is typically like a couple days before the full moon and a couple days after. So depending on when you are watching this, but even regardless, you can always do the practice of getting still, going within and just simply asking like, what do I need to know in this moment? What do I need to see in this moment? What do I need to hear in this moment? What do I need to do in this moment? And sometimes it won't be this grand plan, right? Like we're always looking for like, what is the end goal? What is the big strategy? And oftentimes what we get fed is just like that next nugget, the next breadcrumb, the next little nudge, the next little step we need to take. And that's all it is, right? So why is this so important when it comes to the manifestation journey? And sorry, I just want to take a quick sip of my coffee. And, this energy right now has illuminated a lot for myself, has given me the opportunity to reflect on, a variety of things in new ways, right? And that's what's so beautiful about kind of our own self-discovery and our own levels of awareness is sometimes we come back around to an experience or something that happened or something that we learned, right? A lesson. And now that we're in the new place, right? It's like a spiral. Now that we're in a new point of the spiral, we can see it differently. We have new levels of awareness to then revisit old things with. And I don't mean at all like get stuck in this loop of constantly analyzing and figuring things out. I definitely don't mean that. There can be a time and a place to do that. I just want to gently say, you have to sometimes be careful with that because it's very easy to get stuck in that loop. Okay. And if you are there, again, no judgment. Do not judge yourself. Drop a comment because I can do videos on like getting out of those like mental loops if you need. I think that there's like a really kind of easy healing practice that I could share another time. So anyway, if that would resonate with you or serve you, let me know in the comments below. Okay. So with this new level of awareness, what I am feeling and sensing is that, and again, I've been talking about manifestation for so long. I love manifestation. I think that it literally is like the secret to anything that you want to do, not just like get from a manifesting, not just like a tangible thing, but even how it helps you achieve goals, etc. It has changed my life. But over the past couple of weeks, something has been happening where I have felt a really great sense of surrender, where I am letting go, not even letting go, I have let go of so many of the goals that I once had. And it's interesting because, there's not really even that part of me. I guess I should say, it's so easy. And maybe some of you listening might think, oh my gosh, well, how are you going to manifest anything if you're letting go of your goals, right? If you don't know what you're working towards. And I'm okay with that because with this deeper level of surrender that I'm experiencing, it feels like I am dancing with the divine. Like I am truly co-creating. I am truly allowing whatever way God, source, spirit, the universe wants to move through me and make manifest through me. I am open to it. And there is a peace and freedom that comes with that and joy. Like, I don't know, if you can tell, but I am lit up by that. It feels more exciting, more juicy, more expansive than anything that I could come up with myself that I wanted to try to do. It's like I am so excited to see what's next, even though I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. So through this surrender process, I feel so good. So then I started reflecting on, well, if I am not working towards a goal, because, right, society always tells us we need to be working towards something. We need to be achieving something. We need to be doing more. We need to be producing more to be valuable, right? That's like the kind of underlying thing that most of us deal with. And a lot of my clients come to me with. We don't even realize how much we have like wrapped up our value in what we do and how we show up and how people perceive us. But when we strip all of that away and we clean it all up, and we just come back to true self, right? Like this Leo energy, just very courageously coming back to and honoring our most authentic expression. It seems like things manifest really easily. And I started reflecting on this even more. Like all these like little epiphanies and insights have been coming up for me. And I thought about all of the things, all of the amazing, incredible experiences and things that just literally felt so synchronistic and so magical throughout my own life. And I started getting really curious about them. I started trying to see what the common threads were. And it's so interesting because what I'm realizing and what I'm able to now see is every single time I chose what was true to me, it always worked out. It's almost, and I'm getting goosebumps talking about this, and I love that because for me, like goosebumps is like, this is so true. It's like, it just, goosebumps to me is just like such a deep connection point. It's like every time I said yes to what I wanted, again, when it was aligned and it was authentic and it didn't matter what someone else thought, and I did it my way, it's like life rewarded me every single time. And I can go back to when I like first remember this experience. So I grew up in the 80s, and I should say 80s and 90s. I was young in the 80s, and I always wanted to be a fashion designer. And my grandfather was a lawyer, and he grew up really humbly. He grew up in an orphanage with his two brothers, and my grandmother actually worked for the FBI, and she put him through law school. And he wanted me to be a lawyer. I'm the oldest grandchild, and he wanted me to be a lawyer. That was just like such a respectable thing. And he was so proud, obviously, of, what he had done and what he had created. And I always wanted to be a fashion designer. And he's like, you're not going to make any money doing that. And, and at the time, maybe it was me being naive or whatever, but it was like I didn't care. That was just something that I wanted. And I said yes to myself and to that like calling for myself. And I remember, when I was wanting to go to college, and my mom was a single mom, and college was so expensive. I mean, I thought it was expensive then. And now it's just completely insane. That's a totally different story for another day. But I really wanted to go to this college. I had a really good fashion program. And I'm getting emotional talking about this. And I remember I got a letter in the mail that I had gotten this scholarship to this school. And it's like, I kind of forgot about that until, again, being able to reflect on some of these things. And that's just like one of the very first times I remember this, but I can look back over my life and see how everything manifested because I was true to myself. And I even had a friend recently, kind of say to me, everything has always just fallen into place for you, right? Like it's always just worked out for you. And, that, I don't know what I believe as far as like free will or destiny or, whatever it's called, predestination. It's such a hard thing to contemplate. It's like, I believe in manifestation. So therefore I believe in free will, right? I believe that we all have the power to create the things that we want in our life. And, it is interesting how we all come to this world, and based on our own experiences and the things that we go through, I also believe that there are lessons that we came into this life to learn. But maybe the only lesson that we really need to learn is that we are already whole, is that we are already enough, is that we are already part of the divine. It lives within us. And we have to learn the lessons so we can come back to that one truth. And when we choose time and time and time again to come back to that one truth, we're rewarded. We get what we want. Things are easy. Things fall into place. Right? So, what if we've just been overcomplicating manifestation? And again, I say this as someone who helps women manifest, right? As someone who has manifested so many amazing things. I don't know, and I'm saying this very vulnerably, right? Like it's kind of vulnerable for like a coach to, be like, I don't know, right? But I hope you, I don't know, take something away from this like vulnerability and honesty is like, I don't judge myself for that, right? And I don't want you to judge yourself either. When we can let go of our judgment about ourselves, closer to truth, right? What if you just thought like everything you're doing, everything that is being mirrored to you, everything that's being presented to you, every trigger, every conflict, every contrast that you feel is an invitation to come back to your truth, that you are already whole, that you are already enough, that your innate gifts, that your authenticity, right? Not like your authenticity, how you're projecting it, but like who you really are. When you take off the mask and silence the noise and let go of the status quo and get outside the box and all the other cliches I could say, when you just come back to this place of enoughness, of connection to the divine that lives within you, to love itself, all you need to do is come back to, I am love. That's it. And from that place, everything opens up for you. From that place, the shift happens, the healing happens. From that place, it's like there are no more blocks. There are no more limitations. There's no more self-doubt. There's no more overthinking, overwhelm, all of these other things that cloud us from doing what we want to do. It's just like, I am love. How does love move? I am love. How does love move? And maybe that is a beautiful thing to sit and reflect on today, tomorrow, always. I am love. How does love want to move? And I get that in and of itself is hard. I get that is challenging when maybe you have had experiences that make it difficult for you to feel that level of love in yourself or for yourself. But that's where the healing starts. Okay? Whatever is coming up for you, that's where you start. You allow yourself to feel it fully and then come back to your truth. And this is just why I believe a spiritual path, I hate to say is the only path. I don't want to say it that way because I know that whatever path everyone is on is the path they're meant to be on. But when, for me and my experience, my own connection to God and to spirit, the universe, life itself, again, whatever language you want to use, whatever resonates with you, that connection, really truly feeling that, is how I have been able to connect to my own enoughness, the love within me. Not like the love, like romantic love or love for my family or my kids, but like the love, the just pure consciousness that's running through every cell of my being and yours. So what if that was it? What if it's just like this really big game that we've all been taking way too seriously? We've all been trying way too hard to win, right? we're already winning. We're already on the path that we're meant to be on. We're already on the path that we chose, that we came here to experience and learn from and grow and expand from. And it's almost like every time you come closer to that truth, it's like you're rewarded, right? And maybe it's not the big thing, but it's a little thing. It's a beautiful synchronicity. It's like a letter from a friend. It's a good news phone call. I don't know, whatever it may be. But there's magic and miracles everywhere. And I think it's like just being more connected and tapped into that you experience that for yourself. So, how do you come back to your own truth, right? Some of the women that I work with, they have been in such patterns of people pleasing or following the status quo, or doing what other people think is best for them, or what, like kind of seeking that external validation from other people, that they've lost sight of what they actually want, right? And if that is you, I would simply invite you to spend more time every day doing this consistently, just getting quiet. I'm not going to, some people really like just can't get into a meditation practice, and I'm not going to say a meditation practice, because I know if that sounds good to you, like 100%, I have a meditation practice, I'm obsessed with it. But if you're like, I just can't quiet my mind like that, I can't do that, then just allow yourself to sit for 5 minutes and just breathe, right? Don't, sometimes just like, I'm going to sit down and meditate, like creates resistance, right? So just don't even think of it like that. Just like, I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to be with my breath. I'm going to connect to my heart. And I'm just going to see what wants to come up. And maybe nothing comes up for 4 days, but on the 5th day, there's a little insight, a little reminder of something that feels so true on your heart. Again, this full moon in Leo energy is a perfect time to do this. This is like our creative spirit, right? Like what lights us up, our authentic expression. Okay, do this work now. Just see what gets activated, see what excites you, and then trust it. Sometimes you might feel excited or activated to, I don't know, maybe like go to the library and pick up a book, maybe draw something or paint something, maybe dance around in your room, right? And like to the logical mind, you're like, oh, what is that going to do? That doesn't make sense. But it's just a breadcrumb, and you got to pick it up, because in picking it up, 2 things happen. 1, you're trusting yourself, you're honoring yourself. And 2, you don't know what will happen once you pick up the breadcrumb. Maybe you're sitting and you're painting or drawing, and like a new creative insight comes in, a new level of awareness comes in, something heals, right? Something shifts. Things happen like that. Sometimes things happen and it's more like a teeny tiny pin drop inside our body, and we don't even know the shift happened until like the next day or the next week, and we're just moving differently. And we're like, this energy is different. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now. I didn't have a major healing session. I didn't have a major breakthrough, a major level of awareness, a major insight, but it's like something has shifted inside of me. And again, I know it's a spiral. I know I won't be on this high, forever. There'll be a new level of awareness and a new challenge and something else, but I embrace those, right? I don't fear them, because I know that there's something even more beautiful on the other side of it. So I hope that this conversation has invited you to explore this for yourself, and really, again, just honoring what feels true. How can you show up, right, in a way that is so authentic and true to you, right? Maybe it's saying no to something. Maybe it's saying yes to something. Maybe it's making a decision about something, like a decision that in your heart you just know is the right decision, but you've been afraid to make it, right? Again, letting whatever is being activated as I'm saying this, there's one small thing, one small way you can show up for yourself. You can honor yourself. You can keep a commitment to yourself. We all have that ability each and every moment. And the more you do that, the more you say yes to yourself, the more you're saying yes to love. The more you do that, the more you're saying, yes, I trust myself. And the more you say, yes, I trust myself, it means, yes, I'm trusting you, Spirit. I'm trusting you, intuition, in the way that you're guiding me. And the more we do that, the more magic and miracles manifest for us right in front of our eyes, because we're coming home to our truth, that we don't have to fear anything, that we are being supported. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I went a little bit longer than I had planned, but again, I trust that you get whatever you need from this message, and I hope you have such a beautiful day. Again, leave a message in the comments. Let me know where you're at. And lastly, I do quickly want to add, if you want to join a community of women who are just radically trusting themselves, showing up in a way that feels good, really tapping into their intuition and letting that guide them, right? Even though we don't know what's on the other side, but it feels so good to be surrendered. I invite you to join my Radical Trust accountability group. This is a totally free group. I will leave the sign up information in the description box below, and I hope to see you there. All right, until next time.